Hi darling, you're welcome back to Life Reality Walkway. I'm still your darling Sophie. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for being one of my darlings. I hope you know I love you very much and I still pray for you. And if you're just stopping by my channel for the very first time, why don't you join the family and let's get together and be one of my darlings too, because I love my darlings a lot and I pray for them. So feel free to join the family by clicking the subscribe button, and don't forget to also click the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video you will be notified. And you know one thing about subscribing to this channel, is totally free of charge. Once you click that subscribe button, nothing goes out of your account, and of course nobody's going to ask for any of your account details. So feel free to click that subscribe button and support your darling. Alright, today we'll be wrapping up the section that we started some time ago, and I'm very sure that 3 videos have gone out on sex. So why don't you go back to back and watch them all so that you can understand where we're coming from, and that way you'll be very sure you're not missing out on what we're doing here. Today we have quite a good number of topics to talk about, like 2, 3, and they are quite elaborate, but I'll try to make them very brief because I don't want this video to be that long. So like I said, the topics are 3, but they are quite heavy to talk about, but let's go ahead and break them down. Okay, we'll just be hinting them. We'll be nailing each one of the points, and I'll give you the points and then you do the digestion yourself. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about, the first topic that we'll be treating is the benefits of sex. This is sex series, and we've been talking about sex, and we have treated a whole lot. I'm not giving you any summary. You have to go back and watch the sex videos if you have not watched any. So like I said, the first topic on my list is the benefit of sex, and talking about the benefits of sex, I hope you know that of course everything we do have good sides and bad sides, and so does sex. It has its own good sides too. It's not just the bad sides. I know you already know the bad sides of sex, so right now I'm gonna give you some of the benefits of sex. Having a good sexual life guarantees so much for you as a person. Sex improves our immunity. It does. It improves our immunity, and it doesn't just improve your immunity, it makes sure that you stay healthy. But this can only be guaranteed when you have a very healthy partner, because of course you know that when you don't have a healthy partner, sex can be a very dangerous activity for you, because it makes your health very porous to a whole lot of infections and other things. So when I say that health and sex improves our immunity, it also means that you have to be sure that you have a very healthy partner to enjoy this aspect of sex. Number 2 of the sex benefits that I'll be talking about is for the men, because sex, it helps to reduce the prostate growth. It has been proven that men that have sex often usually don't suffer prostate cancer, and they don't have prostate issues while they age, while they grow old. So it has been proven that sex reduces prostate growth. Another point that I'll be talking about on benefits of sex is the fact that sex helps in proper blood circulation. It does. The sexual activity helps the heart pump blood very well, and it also makes one stay very healthy. So if you really want to have your blood pressure lowered and circulate properly, engage more on sex. It does a whole wonders in that. And another point that I'll be talking about is the fact that sex improves our brain power. And somebody will ask me how? Give it a trial. The more sex you have, the smarter you become. It helps your hormones function very well. And another point I'll be talking about on that is the fact that sex renews our age, and this very point is for the women. So yeah, it's for the women. Sex renews our age. It has been proven that semen is very, very nutritious, but I am not saying you should go on, swallowing, licking it, or no, that's not what I'm talking about here. But it has been proven that sex renews the woman age, and if you're a woman and you're denying your husband sex, I hope you get to understand that you're doing yourself a whole lot of evil, because it's not the man that is enjoying the benefits. You also have a whole lot to enjoy when you have sex. So why don't you go ahead and give it to him real good and have your age renewed? Okay? So another good important factor that I want to talk about is the fact that sex reduces stress, and this happens to both men and women. So you'll be doing yourself a whole lot of favor by cutting down some of those stress hormones by engaging more in sex. So sexual activity has been proven to reduce stress hormones in women. And one of the good benefits of sex, again, that I want to talk about is the fact that sex serves as a healing power. Oh yeah, if you have not experienced this, give it a try out the next time you get sick. Okay, so another thing that I want to talk about here also is the fact that sex reduces worries and anxiety. This could be very funny, but it does. If you have ever seen a man, getting worried about the delayed in salaries and and any kind of worry, why don't you give him a good sex and see whether he doesn't come around? Of course, it's gonna come around. So, sex has been proven time without number to reduce anxiety and worry. Another important good aspect of sex that I want to talk about here is the fact that sex boosts self-confidence. Oh yeah, and I think this is where some of the mothers, they are saying that goes thus. You are beginning to talk back at me. You're beginning to, open your eyes because you have known men. If I should say that in my dialect, some mothers will, tell some of those wayward kids, because it's so what I just said before is exactly what I just said in my dialect. So that's saying they owe it to the fact that it's been proven that sex boosts self-confidence. Oh yeah, it does. And this happens to both the man and the woman. So if you want to increase your self-confidence and know how to work hard, shoot a high, why don't you engage more in sexual activity? I think if I want to go on talking about the benefits of sex, time will not permit us to do that. So, but I want you to digest on these points and then be more practical on them, and you get to enjoy all the benefits of sex. And that brings us to the end of the benefits of sex. Number 2 is lack of sexual pleasure. And to talk about lack of sexual pleasure, I have some points highlighted under that. And number 1 is stress. Talking about stress as one of the causes of lack of sexual pleasure, I want you to agree with me. If you have, experienced a very hectic day, and or you have actually gone through an excruciating pain, even if a woman goes right naked right in front of you, you won't be moved as a man. And if you're a woman and a man is trying hard to woo you or entice you, you won't be moved because you are stressed out. Your body is stressed out, you're on the pains, and so many of your sex hormones are high and working, right hard to make sure that sex doesn't come to your memory. So, if you really want to know why your man hasn't been responding to you sexually, why don't you think on how best to help him, reduce his stress load? And if you really want to, know why your woman hasn't really been responding to you sexually, why don't you think on how best to help her reduce her stress load? And this also brings me to the fact that when a woman is highly stressed out, she may not really be very responsive during sexual activities because of what her sex hormones are doing to her body. So, and this can even happen to women, whether it is from their work stress or from health chores. So if you really want to enjoy your woman very well, make sure that you don't allow her go through a hectic day activity or go through, a whole lot of stress with house chores, so that she'll be more active in bed. Okay? The number 2 on our list still on the causes of lack of sexual pleasure is ill health. When an individual is going through any kind of ill health, the person may not really be responsive to sex. No matter what you do, they may not really, respond because their body is practically weak and they are not their usual self. So you don't have to judge somebody who is sick based on the fact that the person is not feeling fine. And I think even the Bible permits this. Oh yeah, talking about the biblical view on this, I know that this is the only exception case that the Bible has given to couple. The only case in which you can exempt yourself from sexual activity. So this is not really denial. I don't want you to see it that your partner is denying you sex. If he or she is not responding during any kind of ill health crisis, this happens naturally because their body is weak and is not responding. So give your partner more understanding and help the person recover fast so that you guys can resume your sexual activity as usual. And number 3 on my list, so on lack of still on causes of lack of sexual pleasure, is infection. I want to talk about this because it is very, very important to know that being a great lover also means that once in a while you need to get yourself checked, you need to get yourself diagnosed, and be sure that you are not infected in any way. And I really want to talk about this because the truth is that I am not here to judge anybody, but if you are able to see the kind of things that some couple do during their sexual activity, you will know that they are really exposing themselves to all kinds of infections and to all kinds of things that could really impair their health. And because of this, if you really want to be a healthy lover, if you really want to, go on enjoying your sex life, make sure that once in a while you get yourself medically checked to be sure that you don't have any infection. Because if for any reason, based on the kind of sexual activity you engage in, and you contract any infection and leave it untreated, the more it stays right there in your body, the more chances you have to get your sexual organs impaired. Oh yeah. So please, darling, once in a while, get yourself medically checked and be sure that you don't have any infection of any kind. Another important factor that I really want to talk about, still on causes of lack of sexual pleasure, is that some people have very poor self-hygiene. This is really very important because I've seen couples, who deny themselves sex owing to the fact that maybe one partner has a body odor, or maybe one partner has a mouth odor, or maybe one partner doesn't really practice good personal hygiene. So if you really want to promote your partner's sexual pleasure towards you, why don't you check your self-hygiene and be sure that everything is in place, because you really need to get it right to be a great lover and for you to also enjoy sex. So If you're really trying to put loose ends together and then find a clue to why your partner, doesn't really get drawn to you sexually, I think this is the number one thing that you need to check. Be you a man or a woman, this is very important. All right, and another factor that I really want to talk about and still causes of lack of sexual pleasure is our attitude. If you take your time, to find out honestly why your partner is not that responsive to you, it could be because of some untreated grievances. Oh yeah. Why I call it untreated grievances? Because some people are really good in piling up offenses in their hearts. Possibly you might have offended your spouse or your lover, and instead of the person to free-mindedly talk about it, they will keep the grudges right there and then decide to treat you bad or pay you bad with sex. So if you're really looking for a clue on why your partner is really not responsive towards you when it comes to sex, I want you to really sit back and be sure that there hasn't been one serious offense that you have committed against your lover that is making him or her pull away from you. Okay, still on causes of lack of sexual pleasure, I want to talk about another important factor, and this is family pressure. Family pressure and family issues can as well affect our sexual pleasure once in a while. Because yeah, it's always good sometimes that couples express their grievances and have a little quarrel, like I said, and then end this whole thing up in bed. This also make the time of sex more pleasurable. When you're trying to use sex to settle disputes and quarrel, makes it very pleasurable too. But talking about family pleasure, I'm not talking about using sex to settle disputes. No, I am talking about the fact that when you're very very angered, your body releases a whole lot of adrenaline, and some of this adrenaline doesn't really work 100% good on your sex hormones. Okay, yeah, adrenaline can be good and as well be bad for your sexual pleasure. So when one is terribly angered, I'm sorry that it will take a whole lot of time for you to bring the person down to sex. So why don't you, take some time off and forget about sex and help your partner to cool off and calm down before you initiate sex. So when next you see your partner terribly angered, don't just go trying to initiate sex. Try to help the person talk about it and help the person feel relaxed before you start talking about sex. Because this has been proven to be one of the things that causes lack of sexual pleasure. And that brings us to the end of causes of lack of sexual pleasure. Don't forget that all these points I'm trying to just hint on them, but you will do me the favor of sitting back to digest each of these points and be sure that none of them is applicable to your case, and if any of them is actually applicable to your case, please do me the favor of meditating on it and thinking around it and finding a way on how to get its results. Because my darling, I really want you to enjoy sex. You have seen the benefits already. God didn't give us this thing for just the fun of it. We have a whole lot to benefit from sex. So be sure to tidy up all these points and be sure that none of them is depriving you of the sex, uh, and be sure that none of them is depriving you of sexual pleasure and satisfaction. Alright, number 3 on my list that I have today is the ways in which we abuse sex. Yes, darling, I want us to talk about the ways in which we abuse the moment of sex. Yeah, we have both seen the benefits of sex and we have seen some causes of lack of sexual pleasure and of course satisfaction. But now I want us to, talk about the ways in which we abuse sex. It has been established in one of our videos that God made sex available for us, and He has His reasons, of course. Whatever He does for us as our Father, He does for our own good, right? Oh yeah. So let's talk about it. The ways in which we abuse sex. And number one on my list is the fact that most of us abuse some of our body parts during sex. I don't want you, to start throwing names at me or start getting angry because you feel I'm talking about what you are involved in. No, I am not judging you, darling. I'm not judging you. And who am I to even judge you? But I'm just here, to try to open your eyes a little bit to the things that you're doing that you may not know the repercussion on your health. Because you see, my darling, I really want you to, stay healthy while you actually enjoy sex. So yeah, I do. So talking about the things in which we do to abuse sex, and number one on my list is the ways in which we use some of our body parts. And that brings me to something that the Bible said, I think, in the book of Leviticus. If you have not really read the book of Leviticus very well, I will implore you, please make out time and read the book of Leviticus very well, because if you read the book of Leviticus without any act of selfishness, you will get to understand the wrong use of some of our body parts. So, but leaving that aside, I want us to talk about some of our body parts and what they are really meant for. Let's talk about the mouth. Oh yeah, there are a whole lot that the mouth is made for, right? Yeah, like for talking, like for eating, and praising God, worshiping God, and a whole lot, right? And of course, looking at the shape of the mouth, I know some people can give many attributes to it. But darling, the mouth is not meant for sex. And I want to also, bring some things to your memory in case you don't know them, or maybe you knew them before now and you've forgotten all about them because of the pleasure of sex. The truth is that each of our body parts has some bacteria guiding them. You know what bacteria are? There are some microscopic organisms in our bodies that sometimes they do good work for us and sometimes they do a whole lot of havoc in our body. So yeah, I'm just I'm just trying to break it down so everybody's understanding. So talking about some bacteria in our body, each part of the body has some bacteria guiding it as forces, as strong men, guiding the city. So what this bacteria does there, why they are in their natural host, that is the body parts that God has put them to be in. It is actually their natural host. They stay there and they don't disturb you, provided you don't disturb them. Okay? On your skin, you have some bacteria. Right in your mouth, you have some bacteria. Almost every part of the body has some bacteria that stays there naturally and they don't disturb you. So, the problem we have during sexual activity is when we try, to lift some of these bacteria up from their natural host, introducing them to another part of the body where they are not meant to be. For instance, when you lift up the bacteria that are meant to be right in your mouth and you go right into the vagina, introducing them to the vagina, and you're asking them to stay here. Oh, darling, you're going to get it all mixed up because these bacteria are going to revoke. They're going to rebel against you. They're going to tell you, oh man, I'm not meant to be in the vagina, I'm meant to be in the mouth. And you need to get me off here or else I'll give you crisis. And you know what this kind of crisis can be? Of course, those crises are going to be infection. Those crises are going to be those burning sensations that you feel in your vagina at times. And those kind of crises are also going to be those burning sensations that you feel in your manhood at times as a man. So please, my darling, I am begging you to, watch the things you do during your sexual activity. Watch how you use your body parts, and know how you introduce bacteria that are not meant to be in a particular place into another place. For instance, you having an oral sex means that you are either going to force the bacteria that are actually meant to be in the vagina into the mouth, and you're going to have some mouth infection, and or you are going to introduce some bacteria that are meant to be in the mouth right into the vagina, like I said earlier. So using our body parts properly for what they are meant to be used for helps you stay healthy, and this also helps you be a great lover. What I was talking about in point number 2, I mean the causes of lack of sexual pleasure, I talked about infection and getting yourself medically checked up once in a while to stay healthy as a good lover. So this is part of it, and just making reference to that again. So making use of our bodies wrongly is one of the ways in which we abuse sex. And I really want you, darling, to sit back and digest on this point, because I know this is a very controversial topic. I really don't want to go into it. Yeah, I really don't want to go into it. Because some people will tell you that the Bible did not condemn oral sex, and the Bible did not condemn this, the Bible did not condemn anal sex. But the truth is this, like I said, you are introducing some bacteria that are not meant to be in a particular part of the body to another part of the body. You are endangering your health by doing that. When you are engaging in anal sex, I mean, the fact that you are going to still come back and also practice the real act of sex after having anal sex is there. And you know what you're doing to yourself? You will be introducing a whole lot of the bacteria that are meant to be in the anus into the vagina. And you are going to be prone to have an E. coli infection or a whole lot of other bacteria infection. And this is not going to be good for you, because while you're going through this infection crisis, you're going to stay away from sexual activity. You see, the time that you're supposed to be, enjoying your sexual groove with your partner, you're going to stop and start treating it, going through antibiotics. And you know what antibiotics does to your body, darling? It's not really good for one to, always be on antibiotics, because just as the name goes, antibiotics, they work against your body. Antibiotics, you need to know that anything bio is life. So what it does is that it tries to reduce some of the liveliness in you. By what? Reducing your immunity, by working against your white blood cells. And you know what? White blood cells are part of the things that helps our body fight against infection. So once you have infection, they begin to work against your white blood cells, because they are the targets to bring down your immunity. Now you're going back to take antibiotics to get these infections and bacteria off your body, and you're also doing what? Reducing your immunity as well. So darling, why don't you stay healthy for me? Oh yeah, because I want you to stay healthy. So next time you engage in sex, be careful, just a little careful what you do with your body parts. I'm not gonna judge you, like I said, or start telling you what to do or what not to do with your body. It's your body. But I want you to stay healthy while you enjoy sex. Alright, still on abuse on sex. There's something I want us to talk about still on abuse on sex, and I think we'll be rounding up from there. The fact that most of us try to, use sex to hold our partner ransom. What am I talking about? Is she not a woman? Of course, I am a woman. Well, I've been making some other videos. I know if you have heard the word, using sex as a power tool from me. But the truth is that you are not going to use sex as a power tool by trying to use it to, hold your partner hostage or ransom or whatever, trying to use it against your partner by denying him or her sex. That is not how to use sex as a power tool. I just want to talk about this, and I don't want it to sound churches. I just want you, to try it if you haven't tried it. If you are a couple, because I want to believe that this video is really made for couple. Yeah, it's really made for couple. It's not for kids. So during your marital vow, you must have made some promises as a vow. That is a covenant, and I hope you're not taking it for granted, because you made those vows in the presence of God, in the presence of men, and of course the angels, the Holy Spirit were all witnesses to those vows and covenants. But do you know that actually you're meant to renew some of these vows as often as it can? Just like Jesus said something that we should do this often in remembrance of him. You are to try to renew some of these vows and covenants within yourselves as a couple. And oftentimes we are so choked with a whole lot of life activities that we may not even be able to, remember to recite these vows to ourselves and exchange the vows all over again. What I want to tell this especially to the woman, and the man can also take advantage of it, to work a whole lot. I know I've given this clue to somebody and the person called back to say thank you that it's working. So what I'm talking about is using sex as a power tool, to renew our relationship, to increase our bond, to pull ourselves closer to each other. During the moment of sex, why don't you take out some time as the man is ejaculating, make some whispers. You are not whispering to him, you are whispering to God, as this man comes right into me and his fluid comes in contact with my body. Father, bind us with love that can never be broken. This is just a simple prayer, and I tell you, it works a whole lot of wonders. Because sex is a covenant. Oh yeah, it is. It is a covenant. And I'm sure you know that already by now. So, the next time you have sex with your partner, and if you're a woman or a man that feels like you want to, use sex as a power tool to strengthen your relationship, to strengthen your bond with your partner, to pull your partner stronger and stronger to you, just master these words. It's just a simple sentence. As your man is ejaculating right in you, pull him closer. Hold your hands right at his back and muster these words. Whisper it to God. He hears every of our silent prayers. Father, ask my husband releases into me. Father, bind us with love that can never be broken. And I tell you, this works. It works. In fact, I told this to a friend of mine that was having, a whole lot of misunderstanding with her husband. And I tell you the truth, she called back to tell me thank you. She said that things are changing in their relationship, and is changing quite faster than she expects, and that everything that she had always feared is just working the way they should work. So darling, the next time you have sex and you want to use it as a power tool, just muster this simple prayer and see how amazing it works. So darling, that brings us to the end of this episode on sex. I don't know, have you enjoyed it? Did you enjoy this sex series? Because we have come to the end of our sex series talk, and I'm very, very happy that we have done some justice to sex. Yeah, I do know that time did not permit us, to be quite elaborate, but I'm sure that if you have followed us on this sex topic, on this sex series, from the first video up until now, you must have gained one or two things from this sex series. So why don't you give your darling a thumbs up? Click that thumbs up. Oh yeah, so that I can go on and bring you a whole lot of more content to the life reality walkway. And don't forget to click the subscribe button to encourage your darling in making more videos for you. And if you haven't been sharing my videos with your friends and telling your friends to come subscribe to our channel, please, 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 why don't you share my videos and get your friends subscribing to our channels. Let's grow this community, let's grow this group, and let's be darlings. Till I come your way again, don't forget I'm still your darling Sophie, and my prayers are for you because I love it so much. Bye.